Sam Darnold stepped up, stepped out, and showed the world just how good Sam Darnold can be. Oh, man, he absolutely lit it up.
He lit it up. And Fitz, if you would have told me that Matthew Stafford threw for 375 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, while Sam Darnold threw the football 36 times, I would have said congratulations to the Los Angeles Rams for getting back to the Super Bowl. Because I said on Friday, the Seattle Seahawks formula for winning games, getting to the Super Bowl, and winning the Super Bowl is playing great defense, running the ball well, and not asking Sam Darnold to do too much. Because let's be honest, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. Sam Darnold has the reputation of crumbling in the biggest moments and in the biggest games for a reason, because he's had a history of crumbling in the biggest moments and in the biggest games, but not last night. Last night, I think, was enough for us to stop calling Sam Darnold the guy who poops his pants in big games, because Sam Darnold balled. Sam Darnold had himself a game. That big throw to Rashid Shaheed early in the game, a couple of big throws to JSN. He wasn't holding back. Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, wasn't holding back. And several late game play calls in obvious run situations when Clint Kubiak was like, you know what, F it, Sam Darnold, why don't you just go ahead and sling it? And I thought that was just the perfect kind of cherry on top of a great day for Sam Darnold to show nothing but total and complete trust from his coaching staff. What a day, and what a narrative busting opportunity for Sam Darnold.
At this point, I really don't care who Sam Darnold's been. And that's one of the things that we do too much in society, and we do too much in sports coverage. We worry too much about who somebody's been to the point that we refuse to acknowledge who they are today. Sam Darnold today is somebody that went 25 and 36 for 346 and 3 touchdowns. Sam Darnold today is somebody that absolutely carved up a Rams defense that we came into this game with a lot of respect for. Sam Darnold today is somebody that didn't just make it to the Super Bowl. He got his team to the Super Bowl. Yes, Jackson Smith and Jigba went lights out, but you don't go lights out unless your quarterback finds you and gets you the football. Yes, Kenneth Walker III had some big plays in this game, and God knows I could be the leader of his fan club. I love the way he has played. I've been a fan for a long time. I am all in on Kenneth Walker III, but I sat there last night and said, this is a transcendent shut the hell up moment. This is that moment where Jets fans, Vikings fans, NFL fans that have been just absolutely trashing this guy for years all now just need to sit down, shut up, and eat a piece of humble pie. Like, at some point, we have to start saying, okay, no matter who this player has been, who is he today? 14 wins in back-to-back seasons. And as much as Vikings fans wanted to look at the way last season ended as an indication of who he is, if we're going to make those 2 games at the end of last season an indictment of the future of Sam Darnold, we now need to make the 2, 3, 4 games we've seen in the last month of Sam Darnold a statement of who he is today. Sam Darnold didn't just get to a Super Bowl because he rode everybody else's coattails. Sam Darnold is in the Super Bowl because he was every bit the prize fighter that Matt Stafford, the so-called MVP, Matt Stafford went in, played lights out, and Sam Darnold matched him punch for punch. We need to change the way we talk about this quarterback because he is no longer playing the way he used to be. He is now one of those guys that clearly can win you a Super Bowl.
But to your point, Fitz, in their 2 previous meetings in the regular season, Sam Darnold threw for 2 touchdowns and 6 picks. Like, this isn't just an indictment on Sam Darnold and who he was last season in Minnesota in the postseason. This was kind of an indictment on Sam Darnold and how he's looked against the Rams. That the team that just kind of felt like was his number one bugaboo. Like, maybe Sam Darnold doesn't have a big game problem. Maybe Sam Darnold has a Los Angeles Rams problem. But in fairness, like you just mentioned, Matthew Stafford, the likely MVP. And when he had a stat line that was essentially flawless, 22 of 35, 375 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Sam Darnold matched every single swing and every single punch that Matthew Stafford swung at that Seahawks defense. That wasn't a game that was won single-handedly by the Seahawks defense. The Rams were able to move the football on that Seahawks defense. That wasn't just a Kenneth Walker kind of running the football kind of game. I mean, let's keep in mind, too, the Seahawks did this with no Zach Charbonnet. We're missing a massive piece of their 2-headed monster on the ground. So, yes, Kenneth Walker made some massive plays, and he is a huge part of this. And my goodness, how fun was it to watch him against this Rams defensive front? I mean, like, Kenneth Walker looked like Superman out there, like, truly has, like, quads of an alien, but it was Sam Darnold stepping up and making plays when it mattered most. And previously in the postseason, in the first couple of games in the postseason, the Seahawks didn't put too much on Sam Darnold's plate. I don't know if that was a, hey, like, we don't necessarily trust Sam in these moments kind of decision. I don't know if it was a, look, we don't need him to do too much because our defense is playing so lights out and we could run the football so effectively. And maybe it was a little bit of a combination of both of those things. We're not going to ask our quarterback to do too much because we don't really have to ask our quarterback to do too much. He did plenty last night. I think that last night's game was the perfect example to show all of us that you can rewrite your story in the National Football League. I feel a lot of warm fuzzies about Sam Darnold this morning because he was a cast-off. We all wrote Sam Darnold off. And even this past offseason, so many of us, probably Seahawks fans included, were like, Sam Darnold? Really? You're going to move on from Geno Smith and sign Sam Darnold? But you can't talk about Sam Darnold in that kind of light anymore. And I think Sam Darnold has now shown us plenty of a sample size that he is the kind of quarterback that can put the game on his back. Is he the kind of quarterback that can elevate his team game in, game out, down in, down out? No. I don't think he is. But last night showed in the biggest game against one of the best teams in the NFL, he could.
The thing for me is that, and I've said this to you many times in our times working together, I'm old enough to remember when people said that Peyton Manning couldn't win the big one, right? Like in college, Tennessee couldn't beat Florida. Then he gets into the NFL and they struggle to beat the Patriots. And everybody says, oh, Peyton Manning doesn't have that gene. That's a real thing that was being said over and over and over again about Peyton Manning. I'm not saying Sam Darnold is Peyton Manning. I am saying this. Sam Darnold's 28 years old. And you just saw the screenshot there of the other quarterbacks drafted the same year. Sam Darnold was in the same draft class as Josh Allen. Sam Darnold was in the same draft class as Lamar. We're talking about Baker. All these guys. Look, he's at the Super Bowl before all of these other quarterbacks that we respect, and he's still only 28 years old. Yes, he's had some struggles, and yes, he's had some struggles in big games. But to me, when you really want to see if somebody can handle the moment, what you have to look at is what happens under pressure in big moments in big games. And what do we see last night? In the third quarter, this thing blew open, and suddenly it was a drive-for-drive shootout, right? And every time the Seahawks got a little bit of breath, got a little bit of room to breathe, all of a sudden, Puka, Devontae, Stafford, boom, down the field, touchdown, easy. They kept so much pressure on Seattle, and I kept watching and waiting, like all of us, to see, can Sam handle that? And he looked calm. He looked cool. He went through his progressions. Nothing seemed too big for him. He never seemed overwhelmed. That I think is such a huge statement to how he played yesterday. It's not just that he put up great numbers. It's that he looked like he was owning the moment, every single moment they needed. And then think about late in this game, and we'll get to this in just a second, but late in this game, when they take over with a few minutes left to go, and they are deep in their own territory, they're on about 4-yard line, and all of the Rams need the ball back. Nope, they didn't get the ball back, in part because Sam Darnold was able to convert some big throws, in part because Sam Darnold kept everything under control. It was impressive. Let's talk about that fourth down, though, because you're down by 4. Yeah. It's 4th and goal from about the 4-yard line. The Rams choose not to kick the field goal, which would have made it a one-possession game. Instead, they go for it. They do not get it. What do you think of McVay's decision? As it turned out, they didn't get the ball back until there was about 25 seconds left. So by giving the ball back to Seattle, they never really got it back. It turned out to be a key decision that lost them the game. What do you think?
Yes, I thought that was a perfect example of Sean McVay, Mike McDonald, offensive mastermind versus defensive genius, mano in football in its purest form. NFC Championship game on the line, a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. You're in the red zone. Put up or shut up time. And Mike McDonald won that duel between offensive mastermind and defensive genius. I hear a lot of people critiquing the 4th down call, but I want to go back to 3rd down because like you just said, if you kick the ball there, you're still down 1 and there's no guarantee that you get the ball back. Whether you don't get it on 4th down or kick it, take the points and you're down 1, you're still going to have to drive the field on your next possession. Now, the difference is if you don't get the 4th down, you're going to have to score a touchdown versus only having to kick a field goal and winning the game. But still, either way, you're going to have to get the ball back with enough time to drive the field and score. So I have no issue with Sean McVay in that moment saying, F it, we're going to try and win this football game. We don't want to make it close. We want to take the lead. I have no problem with Sean McVay deciding to go for it on 4th down in that moment. But I do want to go back to 3rd down. why throw the football on third down? Because I don't think that you go into that decision within and still kind of pondering, should I kick it on fourth down? Should I not? No, Sean McVay doesn't make that play call on third down without saying this is four down territory, without saying, look, we're going to go for it on fourth down. You have to make your mind up in that moment. So if Sean McVay is thinking in four down territory, why not run the football on third down? Pick up a couple of yards. I believe it was 3rd and 4. Run it on 3rd and 4, pick up a couple of yards. Well, now you're at 4th and 2 and 4th and 1. And now your playbook opens wide open. Now you're in much more comfortable territory versus facing a 4th and 4, and you're almost forced to throw the football in that moment. So I thought that Sean McVay got a little bit too cute, overthought it a little bit too much, was throwing the football on third down. And you might say, Caroline, well, they ran it on second down. They didn't pick up a single yard. I hear you on that, but you mean to tell me that Sean McVay can't run out the jumbo package on third down and draw up a play to just pick up 2 or 3 yards on the ground? Of course they can. So I think that we're critiquing the wrong thing. I don't have an issue with Sean McVay deciding to take the lead there, but I do want to kind of dig deep and really ponder why you didn't run the football on third. Throwing it twice in a row, Fitz, felt wrong to me.
Yeah, I agree with some of the play calling. Remember, the running game isn't always about how much you run for. It's can you run when everybody knows you need to run. We hear that all the time from coaches. I didn't love the decision to go for it. I'll just say this. To me, at the end of the day, you were going to need a stop no matter what to win the football game. So if you get a field goal, then you're down by 1. You get that stop. All you need is a field goal to win the game in pretty good conditions. If you don't get it, if you, at this point, even if you've given up a touchdown, they could add a touchdown 2-point conversion, tied the game. So they left themselves an opportunity to win if they kicked a field goal. The only way they won by going for it was if they got the stop and they turned around and were able to drive down the field. I didn't like the decision to go for it. But above and beyond all that, you're right. The play calling was questionable.